Hi Chris, Jordan Wright from Combat Sports UK. So this is going to be your 15th fight for PFL. What's your favourite one?
It's going to be my what fight? I'm sorry, I lost you.
15th.
15th? Wow. Jeez, that's crazy. My favorite fight so far was probably beating Bubba last year in the semifinal. There's a lot of beef, kind of like there is right now between Brendan and I. So when there's a little extra emotion, those feel best.
And how do you feel about coming into enemy territory?
I feel fine about it. It's not really enemy territory in sport. The energy will be cheers for him, boos for me, but I like the energy nonetheless. I was telling someone this yesterday, but it was a lot more difficult to be in quarantine in quiet and in the dark than it is to feed off of, for me, negative energy. I'll take any energy rather than nothing.
Thanks for your time, Chris.
Thank you.
Ethan.
Hey, Chris. Ethan Albin, Tunnel Vision Sports. Your opponent, Brendan Loughnane, has never been finished. How do you plan on changing that on Saturday?
I mean, my last opponent, Kyle Bochniak, was never finished either, and I fixed that in about a minute too. So I plan on fixing it the same exact way with my shin to his forehead.
All right. And as someone who spends a lot of time on Long Island, I go to school out there. I was wondering, what's your motivation to get back there?
Well, my family, my daughter, she's over on Fire Island right now. She's enjoying the beach weather. I was on FaceTime with her this morning. She was like rubbing it in my face a little bit that she's over at the beach, enjoying her bacon and her food. And I miss her. I miss my girlfriend. And I want to get back to the last couple of weeks of summer that we have left over there. Get out on the boat, enjoy the water.
Thanks, Chris. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Miriam.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm from the BBC and we're doing a bit of a beginner's guide to the PFL for audiences who might not know anything about it. So I've just got a few kind of quick fire questions and my cameraman, I think, is in front of you. So you're kind of looking down the barrel. So if I was an alien who just landed on Earth and asked, what is the PFL? What would you say?
I would say that the PFL is the premier mixed martial arts organization. If you want to watch real sport, if you want to watch a real sports season, then this is where you need to be and this is what you need to be tuned into.
Why does it matter so much?
Why does the PFL matter so much, or why does MMA matter?
The PFL and kind of to you personally.
Well, the PFL matters because the PFL is an up-and-coming organization that follows major sport in the world. We have a regular season, we have a postseason, and we have a championship. And the reason that that's important to me is I grew up in America where we have a lot of big major sport and people like to see, just like here with football, they want to see that regular season followed by a playoff and it to culminate in a championship, not to just see fights here and there that are politically picked by the matchmaker. So this is where real sport exists in MMA.
That's brilliant. And why, how kind of exciting is it that it's coming to London?
I think it's great that we've gone international here and that we're in London. I think that England is a country, to me, from home, from what I understand, a very tough culture, a very fight-oriented culture. They respect boxing. It's deeply rooted here. And I think that it's very natural for MMA now to pop here as well.
And for you personally, what is the best kind of feeling about fighting and when you're mid-fight and, the energy is going through you? Can you just describe that feeling to me?
Absolutely. The the feeling, it's a feeling of being alive, like you can't even imagine. The rush of your natural hormones and chemicals, and just the back and forth with another person who's trained to such a high level that they can take anybody apart. Being in there with someone, sharing that cage with someone at that level and that speed, it's a rush, just like you see someone who skydives, just like you see somebody who does any type of extreme sport. It's the same type of rush that we chase in there. And it's the highs and the lows of that make it so exciting.
And finally, what would it mean to win and win that prize money?
I mean, I've been chasing this for this is the 4th year now. And it's just a must for me, for my legacy and for my family. It just needs to be the feather on the cap for me.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tim.
Hi, Chris. Tim, Sport on Spain.
Hey, Tim.
Oh, you muted yourself, Tim. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned there, Chris, about the rush, the sort of adrenaline rush you get in the cage and when you win. I can only imagine the extremes of that. I'm just curious to know, what are you going to do after the weigh-in tomorrow? How do you sort of focus yourself to not get too excited and think about that, as opposed to try and keep calm? And, what do you do in the 24 hours before to ahead of what's going to be such a massive occasion?
Yeah, the 24 hours before is wild. Some fighters won't admit to you fully what goes through your mind, but there's this I think it's healthy, but there's a cycle of mental things that play out. The storyline plays out in your head, and it's positive. Far majority of it is all positive visualization of your win, of your victory, celebrating your team. But then there's also in your mind, you might face adversity as well. You may be in tough spots, and anxiety kind of can come over you a little bit, the butterflies. And those are natural things. For me, I need to feel those things as a fighter. If I feel nothing, that's when I'm scared as a fighter, because I know that it could be a flat fight for me where I can't get my adrenaline up. I can't get pumped up and excited. I need to harness those butterflies and nervous energy and channel that into a great fight.
Okay, cool. And just one other thing, it's as you said, MMA, it's getting a real profile over here in the UK. I mean, boxing's big, obviously, as we know, but MMA is really catching up. This is the debut, though, for the PFL. Obviously, we're familiar with other brands, and the PFL has got its unique format, knockout. I think it will be a real hit with the fans. But there is a certain amount of pressure, I guess. How do you feel as the USA, almost a representative coming over to London, and being sort of part of the PFL headliner?
Oh, I feel great. I've trained and competed my whole career to be this guy in this spot and to climb even higher. I want to be the man. I want to be the champion. I want to be the face of the organization, and I want to help climb and take the league to new heights. So I embrace it all. I don't run, or I'm not scared of attention or of pressure. That's what I was built as a kid back home on Long Island in small little dark wrestling rooms to be hardened to this type of stuff. And I think I'm perfect for it.
Great. Okay. Thanks very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Curtis.
Hey, Chris, this is Curtis Calhoun with MMA News. Good to talk to you again, man.
Hey, what's up, Curtis?
I'm doing good. Hey, so my question for you is, you've been really open and honest about everything in terms of the growth that you made from a mental perspective entering this season. What have you made of other MMA fighters around the sport, like Paddy Pimblett, Anthony Pettis, talking about mental health and the stigma that comes with it, and, just being open and honest about it?
Yeah, I mean, I just give those guys a ton of credit for speaking out and to being one of the first men to do so in our sport, especially here. It's so important to let everyone know, any fan know, anyone who follows the sport, anyone involved in the sport, that it's okay to have negative feelings. It's natural. It's part of life. But you need to talk to someone. You need to speak out. People love you. There are people out there that will support you. And I just tip my cap to those guys. I know Hattie dealt with some personal stuff, and I feel for him for that. And you wish that you could go back and to speak to them. I've had some situations in my life where some people I knew, things like that happened, and I wish I could go back and let them know that they could talk to me or say anything, and that I could just listen. And it's hard for men sometimes because we want to be tough and we want to have bravado and not show any weakness, but we're all just people, and it's okay.
And one last follow-up for me on that. Do you feel like MMA fighters, casual fans kind of look at fighters and athletes as almost like superheroes, right? So do you feel like somebody in your position, talking about those feelings and mental health and all that is almost more difficult just because you're put on a pedestal?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in this sport, we're all looking around before somebody speaks up. Like, does that make you look weak to speak about it? And I have a close friend. He's a UFC fighter. He's fighting this week too, Jared Gordon. And if you follow him, all he does is speak up about substance abuse and mental health. And his whole platform is dedicated to letting anyone know who follows him that they can come and they speak to him, and that there's people that you can talk to. And Jared is, man, he's one of the just champions of the sport for his honesty, for his openness. We need more of guys like him and girls like him in this sport and in all sport, because we are in the spotlight, and it helps to show the kids out there and the fans that we're there for them too.
Thanks, Chris. All the best this weekend.
Thank you.
Mills.
All-American made, Chris Wade. How's it going, man? MMA Locker Room here, part of Pup Sports Radio.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much, man. I just want to give you some appreciation on your MMA journey and where it got you at now, and how you just, have so much perseverance and never quit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, I got a question for you, man. Last year, when you did the fight with Bubba Jenkins during the weigh-offs, I never forget it, man. That moment right there, I think you started to turn heel a little bit. I think he was on the weigh-ins, and he said something like, "God won't save you in this fight." And at that moment right there, I realized who the real gangster of PFL was, and that's Chris Wade. Kind of reminds me of when Hulk Hogan turned NWO on WWF. And I'm loving everything that is bringing right now. And how do you feel that's going to captivate you in this fight going on with Brandon? Because it seems like it's good guy versus bad guy, and they're trying to turn you into the bad guy. But, man, this is All-American Chris Wade. So how you feel about that?
Yeah, they're trying to force me to turn heel, and I'm okay with it. I'll embrace that. I'm in England, right? At my heart, at my core, I am, like you said, all-American and good guy. I'm there to fight for people who can't fight for themselves and to speak up for people who don't have a voice. That's my nature. I feel that when I'm done with fighting, that I want to continue down a path similar to that, whether it's in politics or it's getting things done, fighters on a more wide basis, where maybe we have a union one day, or we have an association that helps us all do better. But I embrace whatever they want to spin and turn me into. If you want me to be the bad guy, if anybody who comes to me, insults me, talks down on me, their people talk down on me, I will flip a switch so fast and you'll see a whole different guy. But until you do so, I'm the nicest guy in the world to you.
Got it, man. I can't wait. Can't wait. Any predictions for us out here this coming Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that I'm going to submit him. He's never experienced somebody like me before. He thinks that he has, but I promise you that he hasn't. And I don't know whether it's going to be a choke or whether I take his arm or whether I take his leg, but I'm going to take something and I'm going to bring it back home with me. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah, brother. I dig. I can't wait, man.
Thank you.
All right. Any last questions for Chris before we let him go? All right. I have a fan question for you, Chris. How does it feel to have the most heated rivalry in PFL history?
I mean, it feels natural, you know. I want you all to understand that this isn't contrived. This isn't, the PFL is not asking us to go about and do this. This is just really both of us not liking one another and wanting to take each other's heads off. And I embrace it. I don't back down from people who want to be bullies. He wants to be a pompous, cocky bully, and I'm going to rip his head off for it.